Good to hear. Cool. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to BathCamp. Right, we've got quite a packed schedule tonight, so we'll do the first two talks pretty much straight through. There'll be a brief pause in between to sort out cables and the usual crap. And then we'll have a slightly longer break in between those, and then we'll do straight through the second two talks. So first up is Terence Eden with the horror.
The horror. So at some point, this slide is going to change, and we could begin. So I'm going to just start my talk while Sam gets the resolution working correctly. But hi, my name's Terence Eden. I've put an unreasonable amount of my house on the internet, and it has been the most dreadful, horrible, painful experience of my life, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. So, look at that. Turn it off and on again. You transitioned without me going near there. That's weird. So, who am I?
You pressing the button?
I'm not pressing the button.
Have you got timing on the slide?
No, that's because it's gone onto that slide thing. It's ruined it. So, this is why you should never work with computers. So, full screen, happy days. Right, so, there we go. I'm at Eden. It's not moving good. On GitHub and Twitter. Not on MySpace. DJ Eden got there first. I hate that guy. I'm also, as we're talking about Bluetooth later on, I'm broadcasting my contact details on physical web. So if you're one of the 3 people with a physical web app, you can download my contact details. My day job is with O2, but this isn't an O2 talk. I'm not responsible for anything at O2, certainly not your signal. I put loads of my house on the internet, and well, first of all, step back. What is the Internet of Things? I guess we all know. Imagine that everything in your house had an IP address. So you've got a sofa, and it's got an IP address. When someone sits on it, it measures how much they weigh in. You can either query that, or it can send a message, and you can say, all right, well, turn on the heated seats, and hackers can get in and burn people's bums or stuff like that. This is what the Internet of Things is, really. And it's just having things with IP addresses, which don't need IP addresses, and doing stuff with them. So, just give me a cheer. So all the single ladies, all the single guys, just give me a shout if you live by yourself. Just by yourself. Just cheer, because the microphone doesn't pick up people. Hooray! Good. And give me a cheer if you live with other people, either family or housemates, something like that. Hooray! Excellent. This talk is not for you. If you live with people, do not put your house on the Internet of Things. It will damage your relationships irreparably. If you're single, go nuts. You have no one who you will annoy other than yourself. And it should be simple. I mean, the promise that we're given is that you just buy a thing and you plug it in and, oh my God, I'm on the Internet of Things and it's working. And no, oh God, it's horrible. Everything is dreadful, and it involves drilling and electricity hurts when you get it wrong, and rebooting things, and then people being angry with you because the things are rebooting. Just don't do it. So the first thing that I put on, the first bit of my house which we put on the Internet of Things was my solar panels. So I had a guy come in who was fitting the solar panels, and I'm going to roll back a step. So I've told you not to do this. I've told you not to do this. If you live with people. I've got a good friend, Dan Applequist, who set up internet-connected light bulbs, and it's brilliant. So we set them all up, and he has an app, and on the app it says, what we'll do is we'll use GPS, and when you go outside your house, if you've forgotten to turn the lights off, we'll turn the lights off for you. I was like, that's amazing! Definitely having that. Brilliant. So he walks out of his house one day, looks back, brilliant, gets on the bus, and then he receives a phone call from his wife saying, why have all the lights turned off, and how do I turn them back on? You see, lots and lots of Internet of Things are designed by bros in California who live by themselves because they can't get a girlfriend, and it's really designed for the solitary single, individual. It's not designed for people. And trying to get everyone in your house to download the right version of the app onto their phone so they can do the thing, and then usernames and passwords, it's a nightmare. Anyway, so the first thing that I did was solar panels. I had a guy come, solar, let there be light. And he said, oh, what's your Wi-Fi password? And I was like, oh, you want to put your iPhone on? No. Your solar panels come with an app, and you can see how much power you've generated every day. What? This is awesome! awesome, brilliant, yeah. And so I just downloaded the product manual, and it said, and there's an API. An API from Sofa, oh, brilliant. So I got a Raspberry Pi, because every project starts with a Raspberry Pi, and I connected it up, and this is what it does now. It tweets. So if you go to @Eden_solar, every day at sunset exactly, my solar panels tweet a graph showing how much they've done. And actually this was surprisingly easy. I know you were going, wow, that's amazing. It was easy. I did it in PHP because that's what I knew at the time. And it's just, there's a function to get sunrise and sunset, and then my Pi every minute goes, and it gets the data, it stores it, and then it draws a graph, and then it tweets, and it was just amazing. You can visit the GitHub repo if you're desperate to find out how I did it. And the easiest thing about this was my solar panels have no security on them whatsoever. If there's no usernames, no passwords, if you're in my house and on my Wi-Fi, you can reconfigure my electricity, you can upload new firmware, you can turn it off, you can probably blow them up. And this is a common theme that we'll see, is that there is no security on the Internet of Things, and it can get a bit scary. So the next thing is lights. Everyone loves lights. We're going to hear a bit more about lights. And so yeah, I thought I want something nice and easy that I can start with. So I got a LifeX, and LifeX is brilliant because as you'll see, you literally, there's no rewiring. You just put it in a light socket, do that, and it's there. And then you get an app and you connect it, and it all works. And it's great. And one of the best things about LifeX is that they are well integrated with all sorts of other things. So how many of you are familiar with if this then that? Just give me a cheer.
Yay.
Wonderful. So what I can do is I can get my different Internet of Things things. I need a better way to say Internet of Things, but my things to talk to each other via IoT'd. So this is what I've got so far. If my Nest smoke will get very angry with you, but if it detects fire, it will flash my lights red, which is so cool. It's not like useful, and in a fire it's probably the dangerous part. It's cool. The other thing I've got is I've got the Tado heating system. So it's like a Nest, only it's German and it's better. So they told me. And what this does is when it detects that no one is in the home, it switches off the heating, which is great, but it also switches off the lights as well. So hopefully I don't have that problem that my mate Dan had, where one person leaves and all the lights go off. And theoretically, I could get different things to happen with this. I could say if fire starts going off, then turn on the heating, or if I switch my lights on, turn on the smoke alarm. No, that's probably a stupid idea, but things like that. Now this is great, and it was really good for getting started with it, if this and that. But we're all hackers here, right? Yeah, we're hardcore. Yeah, hardcore hackers. Yeah. So LifeX have an API, and it's really good, and it uses SSL, and it's OAuth, and there's tokens, and it's well documented, and it's everything that you want from an Internet of Things API. And so I've now got code where I've got Chrome running, and Chrome has got a speech recognition API in JavaScript, so I can whisper into my laptop, Lumos, and the lights come on, and then Nox, and the lights go off, and I'm just like Harry Potter. It's awesome, except of course that the word knocks sounds like knocks, and so if someone says who's knocking, then the lights turn off and the postman gets confused. But it's really cool. But yeah, so the problem with LifeX is they're expensive. They're like between 30 and 50 quid each, which is all right if you've got one bulb. But in my kitchen, I've got one of these sort of stupid things which have got 4 bulbs each. So I've got 8 bulbs in my kitchen, so that's like 200 quid if I want to LifeX up my kitchen. I don't have £200. If anyone has £200 and wants to give it to me to buy bulbs, great, but I don't. So what I thought is, what if I internet enable just the light switch? Great, so I found this. This is a Wi-Fi light switch for £50 from China. You can find this on eBay and Amazon. And it's really cool. So you, you can physically touch the switch and it will turn on and off. So you don't need an app on your phone. It's also got Wi-Fi in there so you can connect. Now, the big problem with this is right here. So this takes a live, switch live, and a neutral wire. Give me a cheer if your home has neutral wiring to light switches. No, it doesn't. And this is one of the big problems with the Internet of Things, is that, especially with home automation, all the stuff designed for America is designed for their puny 110 volt systems as opposed to our big butch 240 volt systems. All the stuff for Europe is designed with their superior electrical wiring standards, not our inferior ones. So you end up in this zone where things cost a lot or they're incompatible. So I only found out this after I drilled out a big section of my wall to try and installed this and found out that if you don't flick that little thing in your fuse box, electricity hurts. Now that's not the worst thing about this. So the app for this isn't allowed on Google Play. You have to download it from a Chinese app store which doesn't use HTTPS. And when you install it on your phone, these are the permissions that it asks for. Why does my light switch need to be able to read all my accounts and take video and record audio and send premium rate SMS? Would you give me a cheer if you'd installed this on your phone? I wouldn't. I mean, it's just this. Oh god, this isn't even the worst bit. So I did a little bit of sniffing, and the way this works is the light switch, once you've connected it to the Wi-Fi, makes a permanent connection to an IP address in Hong Kong. And that server that it's connected to is running Windows Vista. And what the app does is it literally, you've got the serial number of your light switch, which is like a 7-digit number. It sends that 7-digit number in plain text to this IP address in China, which then connects back to you. So basically, if you can work out what someone else's serial number is, and I'm guessing they're iterative, you can turn on and off people's lights with no authentication. And you've now given anyone in China who can get past the rigorous defences of Windows Vista a direct route into your house, because this is running on the same Wi-Fi as all your other stuff. It's all terrible and horrible. Now, some apps are good. So I've got a BMW i3, which is an electric car, and it's brilliant. It runs Linux. I'm driving around in an unpatched Linux PC with, it is unpatched, they sent me the source code, it's terrible. But it's got a SIM card in it, so my car is Linux, and it has a permanent 3G connection, which is great. And so I've got the BMW app, and the BMW app is crap. You know, they just can't write a decent app to save their lives. So what do we do? And they don't have an API. They used to have an API for hackathons, and then they shut it down. So what do we do if someone gives us a locked down app and we can't use it? Yes, hack the mainframe! It is, it's a Unix system, and I do know this. So, I am more in than her, it's sad to say. But anyway, so I installed a proxy on my phone, and because the app doesn't use certificate pinning, I was able to see all of the calls that it makes, so what the name of the service that it goes to, all the authentication details that it sends, and all the responses as well. This is my first foray into reverse engineering stuff, looking into it, and it's really interesting. I also learned how to decompile Android apps, which if you haven't done, it's brilliant. And so yeah, you can just see all the different API calls in the app and all the spelling mistakes they made in there. And so now I've got a little Raspberry Pi, again, and it pings off to BMW and it collects data about my car. What can I do with this data about my car? There's only one thing that you can do with data about your car, and that's stick it on Twitter again. So you can go and follow @EdenCar, and every time I finish making a journey, so you'll see now that I've parked up in Bath somewhere, you'll be able to see how many miles I did, how efficient I was. And actually Twitter is really, really good as a pub-sub architecture, because people already have it. You don't need to worry about installing apps or writing apps or anything like that. There's loads of libraries for integrating with Twitter. And you can push a huge amount of stuff up on there. So as well as text and emoji, you can also do pictures and now metadata as well as location. And yeah, so one of the things I realized is you can actually store a huge amount of data on Twitter from your Internet of Things enabled stuff. So I got an IP camera, which is designed to only be used with one hub. So again, locked down. However, it turns out there's a little hole in the back. If you put one of those Apple sort of paperclip things in there, it resets. If you go online, you find the factory default password. So type that in, and hey presto, you now own your camera. And what I've got that doing is every minute when it is sunny, it tweets a picture of the sky, just saying how much power my solar panels have. So this now is my camera talking to my solar panels, talking to a Raspberry Pi, talking to Twitter, going up. That's interesting. You can actually save a huge amount of data on Twitter. So, sidebar, anyone wants to make a Twitter file system, definitely a good idea. But of course, now the problem is that I've got like 7 or 8, we'll jump up here now, 7 or 8 different Twitter accounts for my Internet of Things, and they don't, you know, it's kind of hard to keep track of them all. And one of the problems is no one makes a complete Internet of Things package. It's all lots and lots of different bits. So you end up with this. You end up with a drawer full of apps, and you have to remember, hang on, is Nest Nest is a smoke alarm, not because I don't have the Nest thermostat, so I've got the Tado that, and the life. Oh, now the life exit for the upstairs light bulbs, but I've got Philips Hue downstairs, so they need to use it. It's a pain. It's an absolute pain. So what do we do when we have lots and lots of different APIs and lots of different views? Well, we get another Raspberry Pi and we hack it together. So right now, Sam assures me that if I swipe up with 4 fingers, something magical will happen here. There we go. So. There we go. So I built a dashboard. So if you go to ourhouse.tech, yes, .tech is a real TLD now. Why? Who knows? But it was free. So this is what I've got. So this is a live view. So that's the camera showing the sky above my house. That's how much in real time my solar panels are generating. It's a mere 39 watts at the moment, a little spark line. I've got some internet connected batteries. So this is like a Tesla Powerwall. It's made by a company called Maslow. And at the moment it's monitoring, so the house is using about 3.5 kilowatts, which probably means my wife is playing lots of video games at the moment. But the battery is charged up to about 69%, so overnight I can see that drain. The temperature is 18.35. My light bulb is off, but when it was last on it was green. Oh, I've got a Roomba, you know, like those little things. And it turns out it's got a serial port on the top. And serial port's basically the same as USB, so you can get little Wi-Fi modules, and again, hack that. So now my Roomba, if you follow @Eden_Roomba, you'll see how infrequently my house gets cleaned, but you will see how many meters it's travelled. Yeah, so my smoke alarm is online, no carbon monoxide, no smoke. Yes. And there's my car. My car is charging at the moment, and my journey to Bath was a pretty good 4.35 kilowatt hours per mile, so miles per kilowatt hour. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, so please, I do encourage you to go to ourhouse.tech and you can see everything. Oh, I must make a special mention actually of Cayenne. So these people, they make an Internet of Things platform for Raspberry Pi. It's amazing. If you don't like the idea of fiddling really low-level Python and working out, you know, how I get this LED to turn on that buzzer to integrate, Cayenne just does it all. They're very good. They're very kind sponsors. So yeah, do go. Please do click on that link as well, so they know how much. So yes, there we go, ourhouse.tech, and you can see everything. So what did we learn here today? Well, so I've got lots of stuff connected to the internet. I mean, lots of stuff, entirely too much stuff. And none of it talks to each other. You know, I've got cameras made by the same people who don't talk to each other. I've got incompatible light bulbs, and it's a pain. And some of these things have stopped being supported, so I got a slow cooker, an Internet Things slow cooker. And for me, I like stew, alright. And the idea is that you can load up, and it will send you a little ping and say, hey, when are you coming home? I said, I'm going to start cooking for you now. Brilliant, thanks Internet Things slow cooker. Except it doesn't exist anymore on the manufacturer's website, and they're not releasing firmware updates for it, and it's probably buggy and insecure now, so I've thrown it away. But yeah, you'll find lots of stuff, and probably more stuff than you realise you can stick on the internet. You know, some of it is really kind of cool. So being able to view security cameras is great. Knowing now what I can do is say, you know, if my solar panels are generating this much energy and the battery is already full, then when the car plugs in, tell it to charge. But you know what? If the solar panels aren't producing that much energy, just wait until midnight when the energy is cheaper. So you can start really automating all sorts of interesting stuff. You could theoretically say, well, if the car's charging, don't let the Roomba recharge. But, I mean, it doesn't take a lot of power. But you could start to see the possibilities of what you can do. So yeah, there's loads of stuff. Some of it works, some of it is crap. So this is what I found out. So first of all, don't do this. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. No one needs any of this. You know, your life will be fine if you can't turn the lights on and off from your phone. I promise you, it's broadly going to be okay. But if you do, look for well-supported stuff. So find things where security updates are being released, or they've got a product roadmap. I mean, okay, you might need to buy a new thing and upgrade it, but you don't want to be stuck with something where the manufacturer's gone, yeah, we've gone now, well, the Kickstarter failed, so you know, all of your light bulbs now no longer work because they need a cloud connection and we haven't paid our AWS bills. Make sure there's a good developer community, so you'll find lots of these things. You know, if all it is a GitHub page with a whole bunch of issues which haven't been touched in ages, this might not be the thing for you. But if there's lots of people building libraries for it, go for it. It's one of the reasons I use Twitter as a platform, is because there's loads of libraries, really easy to support. Same with if this and that. So that's the other thing, is if you don't want to get your hands dirty with all this stuff and fiddle around, then use something like IM, use something like IoT'd. That's great. The other thing is hubs. How much do I have time? So you can find things like the N-Cube, and I think Nokia just bought Withings, is it pronounced? Withings. And the idea is this is one hub to rule them all. So like I said, LifeX bulbs do not work with Philips Hue bulbs, but if you've got an intermediary box in the middle, then you can connect the two, and now you only have one app to turn on and off your lights and to do everything. You can build your own, so that's what I'm doing with my Raspberry Pis, turning in like a little cluster of them and everything, and that's really good. And the other thing, the last thing, is check for the family acceptance factor. So my wife is incredibly patient. In fact, more than that, she actually loves using all these different things. And it's great fun playing with all the different things and seeing what you can do and saying, oh, well, could we make it so that when the lights do this, this happens over here? Great. It is not unreasonable if the Wi-Fi goes down and she can't switch on the lights from bed, for her to kick me out of bed to do it manually. That is perfectly reasonable. But honestly, if you start doing this and you've got friends and family coming over and you're having to say, all right, if you want to turn the lights on in the guest room, first install this app and connect to this access point. Let me create a guest account for you first. They'll just go upstairs and travel lodge. It's that's great. So basically, the final thing I would say is have fun. This is so much fun. I mean, it really is. It's incredibly frustrating, and you might get small electric shocks, and you might drill a hole and go, didn't mean to drill that there. But at the end of the day, you can build something, and it's yours, and you can control it, and you can have a lot of fun doing it. And that's what I did. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you very much indeed.